All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Man, I am happy to see all of you guys in here. That is awesome. Seth and Trey and John, Zach. We got all kinds of people in here. Aaron's in here. Larry is in here. Man, we got all sorts of people just talking up the storm. Obviously, there's a reason, right? What's going on? Appreciate each and every one of you. Real quick, I just want to say, if you look over there, half an hour ago, Goki Colts fan dropped $5 in the tip jar, which you could do as well if you want to get your comment or question up. Make sure it gets answered. It's right down here. The link is in the description. He says, dropped $5, said he believes Irsay overreacted and set the team back. Carson was never given a chance, in my opinion. Never an offseason to prepare as a healthy Colts quarterback. Honestly, Washington got themselves a good quarterback. Judge the quarterback when he gets guys to target. We will get into this a lot deeper here in a little bit, but first and foremost, I want to thank everybody. Please don't forget to smash the like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and tag that notification bell. The like button is so important. So important. It'll help us grow. And that is the best thing that you could do for us. So thank you so much. Loyalist. So it seems that the Indianapolis Colts are trading quarterback Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders. And I'm just going to say that still feels weird to say. It feels about as weird as Las Vegas Raiders. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. They swapped second round picks. Colts moved up 5 spots in the second round this year. And then got a third round pick this year. And then next year they get another third round pick, which could turn into a second round pick. So in essence, if Wentz plays and that pick moves up to a second round pick, basically, the Indianapolis Colts got Carson Wentz last year by trading a first-round pick for a second-round pick, and that's it.
Yeah,
wow.
And we didn't have to pay all that dead cap hit like the Eagles had to last year. I mean, wasn't it like $35 million or something that they had to eat for us? So right. Yeah, that's been a nice little added bonus. That was the big concern, if moving from Carson was how much was it, were they only going to take the $15 million or, where that all stood. And to your point, I mean, if the Colts weren't happy, I feel like this was absolutely the best outcome. I tend to lean towards, Goki, I would have loved to seen Carson back here another year, give it another shot, but that's just knowing what we know. You know what I mean? Behind closed doors and stuff, there was obviously bigger problems and stuff. So if you feel like Carson wasn't your guy, then yeah, I mean, to your point, we gave up a round worth of a pick and we had a 1-year flyer on somebody and seeing if we could get something out of it. So, if you're going to miss, this is the best way to miss, I guess, is not to lose the farm.
Yeah. The only issue that I have with the trade, and I when it comes to what the Colts got out of it, I feel like this could be some of Ballard's best work on a trade, by far. This is up there, in my opinion, with his 2018 draft when it comes to his work with trades. Because honestly, to get Washington to give up as much as they did, plus take the entire contract so that the Colts now have some cap space to work with, was an absolute genius move. And it should go down as Ballard really, just another feather in his cap, showing that Chris Ballard really does know what the heck he's doing. However, I do want to get into the Washington Commanders a little bit, because I think this was actually a good move for the Washington Commanders. Okay. they are not necessarily a dump-off team. They have some very good weapons at wide receiver and tight end. I'm telling you, Scary Terry McLaurin, he's going to love Carson Wentz, okay? Am I wrong?
No, sir, not at all. I mean, I know, well, I love Terry McLaurin. I was hoping that we could get him here, back there in the draft and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that young man, and arguably, I mean, you put him or MPJ, I mean, those are like two of the better receivers that Carson's had to throw in his career.
Absolutely. Now, there's a problem. The only problem that I have is Jim Irsay, his original thing that he was saying at the beginning of the year that got this whole Carson Wentz thing rolling was that, where he tweeted about the Super Bowl and saying, you got to have a top 10 franchise quarterback. Well, now the Colts have no quarterback. I mean, we do, but I wouldn't call him a franchise quarterback. He's a second-year player who, quite frankly, did not impress me at all in last year's training camp. And what's on the market right now is not exactly what I would call, things to be scratching for, right? So really, what are we going to do? Are the Colts just going to go for a stopgap and then maybe try to save up some stuff for next year in hopes of trading up and having that first-round pick and some extra ammunition, maybe another second-round pick on top to, move up in the draft, maybe pick someone then, or maybe someone will come open free next year in free agency, or they have a little bit of ammo. Maybe they could throw some stuff together, go get somebody like, I don't know, Derek Carr or something, right? I like Derek Carr. What are your thoughts?
I sit there and I think about 2023 draft. Okay, and it's like, yeah, okay, now we have more pieces to possibly, move up into the draft and stuff. But then you look at all these teams that are going to have 2 and 3 first-round draft picks and stuff, and a couple of them are quarterback-needy teams. So, it's, I feel like that might be a tough mountain to climb because of what other assets other teams have to offer. But I like the idea of getting somebody that's proven to get us through this year. Like you said, the stopgap, whether it's a Mitchell Trubisky or a Mariota, or the list goes on. But the thing is here's what sticks with me is, okay, the Colts are not getting anything better, aside from basically a Deshaun Watson, and I think we both can agree that that's, the chances of that happening are slim to none, so I don't see that the quarterback play is going to be better.
No.
Where was Carson falling short? These are questions that only Irsay and Ballard and Wright, but where was the disconnect? Where, what made them sit there and look at Carson Wentz and say that this experiment's already run its course just in 1 year's time? That's the question I don't understand.
There's very few quarterbacks in the free agent market right now that are what I would call long-term solutions. Okay. Believe it or not, Ben Roethlisberger apparently has not officially retired because he's still listed as a free agent. And that's a big fat no from me. I'm just saying. Ryan Fitzpatrick at 39 still, in my opinion, is a maybe. Everywhere he's gone, he's been a good stopgap quarterback, right? There's Andy Dalton. Probably not. I wouldn't mind him. I think Andy Dalton with a good offensive line probably wouldn't be too shabby. But again, it's a stopgap. He's not your long-term solution by far. Cam Newton, that's a big fat no. Doesn't fit with our system. Tyrod Taylor, no thank you. Jacoby Brissett, didn't I just say Tyrod Taylor? Oh, Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater. Wait, didn't I just say Jacoby Brissett? Oh, Jameis Winston, again, that's a maybe. That's a maybe. I mean, we've seen quarterbacks who, honestly, last year with the Saints, I thought he looked pretty decent. What'd you think in the short amount of time he played there? I'll be honest with you. I sit there and I look at, not last year, I look at 2 years ago and I'm just like,
Jameis Winston just doesn't move that needle for me. And I honestly don't see that being an upgrade from Carson Wentz, other than you look at the his youth and stuff. But to sit there, I mean, if they really have a problem with Carson Wentz's style of football, if that's why the Colts said one and done, do you see Jameis Winston being a big change of pace? I mean, he's sort of got that reckless, make the play no matter what type of mentality. You know what I mean? And then you look at it like a Mariota, and I mean, that arm of his, that elbow. I mean, he's literally one injury away from possibly being retired out of the league himself. I mean, do you want to take on that risk? I said, I don't know what Ballard's pieces to this puzzle are. I have to hope that his are better than what I've got rolling through my mind right now, because it's not looking good from where I can see.
I apologize for the screen, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to pull the tab away from the StreamYard tab, and that's why it is what it is. There is some people in here talking about Ehlinger. I don't think Ehlinger needs a shot. I saw plenty of him during training camp. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Okay. Contrary to all these blow-up reports that were happening, it was between Ehlinger and, the second-year quarterback that we had at the time. And honestly, Eason, in my opinion, played better than Ehlinger did during training camp, okay? Ehlinger is not a downfield thrower. He's going to end up turning the ball over a lot because he just does not have the arm strength or the ability to lead a receiver as well. Could he be a backup quarterback? Sure. But I don't think that he could be a starter in the NFL.
Yeah. And now the question is do the Colts find a piece, to your point, being that stopgap, to sit there and hopefully give us a year or two and give us time to find the long-term answer? You know what I mean? When Ballard was talking about some things needing a Band-Aid, I thought he was talking more of the left tackle and some of the other spots like that. Now you're looking at a quarterback, and I mean, Derek Carr maybe, but right now there's no signs looking like he's even an option,
No.
So.
No. Marcus Mariota's name's been thrown out there. I don't want Marcus Mariota. He's one elbow injury away from being retired. Okay, I've talked about this a million times. He has an injury to his elbow that every time he lands on that nerve in that elbow goes off. He can't even feel his fingertips every time it happens, and he goes weeks of going through that. And that's not something that goes away. All right, that is a nerve problem. They can't fix that. Okay, that's why Vegas keeps him as a backup, generally for a while.
And we've seen plenty of him with the Titans to know that that's not the result we're looking for.
No. There's been talk about Mitchell Trubisky. I get a lot of people do not like Mitchell Trubisky, but at the same time, we haven't seen what Mitchell Trubisky could do behind a decent offensive line. Because let's face it, the Bears are trash. And I mean, he did play a little bit with the Bills. I thought he looked pretty decent there. It's not someone that I would go out and grab, to be a long-term solution. But if he plays well, maybe he could play himself into a good situation. Same with Gardner Minshew, right? I like what I saw from Gardner Minshew with the Jaguars. I liked what I saw with him with the Eagles. Somebody that I think, the Colts might maybe offer a little bit to. Obviously, you're not giving a second and a third round pick to the Eagles for him. It'd be a lesser pick, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, the two that you mentioned, for me, those are more of my choices would be the Gardner Minshew or the Mitch Trubisky, because quite honestly, okay, this team with the running game that they've got, with the offensive line they got, we don't need a quarterback that can just throw the ball everywhere. Would we love it? Yes. Yeah, please. Yes, that's what I want. But I'm just saying, as far as a stopgap and who knows, Mitchell Trubisky, like you said, you get him behind Coach Reich and this coaching staff, maybe they can do with Mitchell Trubisky what they were hoping to do with Carson Wentz. Who knows? And the thing is now you run into that. How much is it going to cost you? You know what I mean? What's the price tag going to be? You know, and there again, you know, money. I mean, you know, the Carson Wentz trade, once it's finalized, I mean, we pick up a lot of cap space. I understand. But we also have some other holes. So I'm thinking if you can get a Mitch Trubisky for, you know, 18, 20 million a year or whatever, pay him, you know, starting quarterback money, but yet not anywhere near the top of the, and give that a year or two to see, hey, everything's falling apart. Quarterbacks, well, and all of it's going. But yeah, I just, like I said, to me, all the solutions don't really seem like the final answer, if that's, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I got you. And reported just earlier today, the Indianapolis Colts have spent $107 million on the quarterback over the last 3 years, which leads the NFL. Okay? Right now we have one quarterback. Now, if you're going to take a flyer on a young quarterback that started off with a bad team, a couple quarterbacks out there that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm just saying, you got Josh Rosen, right? He's a free agent now. He never really got a real shot with any team in the NFL. I'm not saying that he's something great. I'm saying that you could pick him up for on the really, really cheap, see what you got in camp. Dwayne Haskins is another guy that you could pick up on the really, really cheap, see what you got in camp, right? I'm not saying make him our starter, obviously, either one of them. But it's somebody that you could pick up because we only have one guy on the roster and see what's there to go along with the quarterback that you do pick up with plans to actually be that stopgap guy until you decide to, you know, hopefully get a real quarterback next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping the most I think that I can hope for is I want a good competition. I want whoever they bring in, you know, not to just be given the keys to the car and say, okay, you're the guy. You know what I mean? I want to sit there and see a couple guys come in and make them earn it. You know, like most other positions in the game of football. You know, nowadays I understand you get your quarterback and you treat them with kid gloves and you prop them up. I'm over that. You know what? Give me a football player. Give me a guy that can sit there and understand that, you know, he doesn't have to be the centerpiece. You've got JT, Michael Pittman Jr., Nyheim Hines. And let's get this show rolling.
All right. Brandon W., thank you for using the tip jar, using the link right here in the description. Says $3 on the tip. Says Loyalist is closer to having his dreams of Jones in a Colts uniform. This move churns my curiosity more than anything on what Ballard is seeing. Okay.
Yeah. Do they use all this extra money to enforce some of these holes that we've been talking about? And then, you know, to Brandon's point, is just sit there and get your receiver, get your defensive end, you know, or whatever, and let the team win the games and bring a quarterback in to sort of be able to be the dealer of the cards to all the important players.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to take a moment here to get a little I got to throw my ads out. They pay me for it. So please don't forget to smash that like button. Be right back. What's going on, everybody? This episode is brought to you by Ultra Game. Ultra Game is officially licensed by the NFL. Ultra Game NFL is a reintroduction to the classic NFL fan gear, boasting innovative design and fabric updates for the fresh fits for today's stadium goers that appeal to everyone. And if you use the link in the description right now, you get this great Ultra Game NFL Men's Sherpa lined full fleece hoodie sweatshirt. That's right. And this full soft fleece hoodie with Sherpa polyester lining ensures comfort and warmth in the cold weather. Length and fits as perfect as a layering piece for any physical activity. Just make sure you use the link in the description. That way you could get your Ultra Game Men's Sherpa full lined zip fleece hoodie sweatshirt at a discounted price. Let's get back to the video. All right, so there are a few people out there that are talking about, oh, we have $70 million in cap space now. We could do whatever we want. We can go out and get everybody. Hold on. We don't have a quarterback. We don't have a left tackle. We have 28 free agents. We have a tight end who just retired. I mean, we don't know what's going on with T.Y. Hilton. With Doyle retiring, it's a good possibility we're going to have to go out and get another wide. 28 free agents that we're going to have to fill, Loyalist. And that's a minimum of $1 million per person. And that's on the low end. All right, so that's 28 mil gone. Quarterback, you're looking probably anywhere between 10 to 30 mil, depending upon the quality of quarterback that you're going out to get, because we're not going to be getting the $50 million guys. Those are out of reach now, especially with Russell Wilson now being traded and Aaron Rodgers saying, nah, I just got myself a deal. I'm sticking here, which I figured would happen, right? And we're not getting a Josh Allen. We're not trading for Josh. We're not trading for a certain quarterback over there at Kansas City. But I'll tell you what. Do we have some money? Yes, but that just means that there's a lot more to work with Ballard, right? Now he can focus hardcore on other positions. You know, if he's like able to hit here, then he could go a little light over here. You know, and still be able to work a little bit with the amount of room that we have. I'm telling you, the next, when free agency hits, it's going to be interesting for the Colts fans. And every year we talk about this, and every year we look at the free agency and go, well, there's a little signing, there's a little signing, there's a little signing, while all the big guys are gone, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, same day that Russell Wilson gets signed, we sign a cornerback. Woo.
Right. Toxic says he saw my Amari Cooper film room I dropped yesterday. Woohoo! Thanks, man. You guys can go check out my Amari Cooper film room and my other film rooms like Allen Robinson and, of course, Chandler Jones that I dropped. I'll drop another one this week. We'll probably vote on it on our Patreon stream this Thursday at 8 p.m. If you want to join that, it's only $5 a month for my Patreon. Right, and the link is in the description. Guys, I don't know. Amari Cooper, there hasn't been word. It's just been saying that he'll be released to save the money, right? Yeah. They'll save it's like $16 million by releasing him. But he'll still get paid. I think they'll owe him $6 million. So that ain't going to help sign the guy, and Cooper's probably going to want anywhere between $16 to $18 million. I mean, in my opinion, he's worth it. Go watch the film room. You'll know what I'm talking about. But now I'm going to have
Dallas has been moving around a lot of money over the last couple of days and stuff, with their offensive line and stuff. So is that for Amari Cooper or something? So you got to wait until he comes available before you get too salivating over him.
Right. Because let's face it, Dak Prescott, he loves him some Amari Cooper. All right, he really does. I mean, he saved Dak Prescott's butt over there in Dallas. I mean, you look what Dak Prescott looked like before Amari Cooper and after Amari Cooper, and you'll see a huge difference. Huge difference. But hey, I'm going to have to do a film room on a quarterback. I don't know which one yet, because I mean I'm looking at the free agents going, I don't want any of them. I mean,
when you see Mitchell Trubisky and it raises an eyebrow in a positive way, you got to be going, oh no, we're here again.
Oh crap! Right, guys, smash that like button. I appreciate each and every one of you. Truett says Ballard better start feeling some heat. Ballard has felt some heat. He's out there. He's doing what he needs to do. But I was of the opinion that Ballard would be dumber than heck to just release Wentz, as a lot of reports were saying. That if they couldn't get a trade, they would release him. That would be dumb. Because it just be dumb. Especially with the quarterback market that's sitting out there, right? Mm-hmm. And still have to pay that much money. The fact that he was able to do this and save a ton of money, like all of it, all $28 million, that right there makes the trade worth it all on its own. You just be like, all right, hit the restart button. All right, that's awesome. I love that.
Yes.
Now the question is, who's going to be the stopgap guy? Because ew.
I mean, you have to believe. I mean, Gardner. See, you have to believe that Ballard's got some ideas in mind. You know what I mean? He's got to have some solutions, because you don't just sit there and make this decision. And okay, I understand Ballard wasn't that impressed with Wentz and so on and so, but he's also not that knee jerk, I'm going to make this decision from a place of anger. And so, I mean, he's calculated and he's good at what he does. I mean, to your point, how many other people are going to be able to get in the Carson Wentz and out of the Carson Wentz situation if, Ballard obviously felt that it was that dire, I mean, and the thing is, you hear a lot of this talk that the end of the season didn't even really have a whole lot to weigh in with. I mean, these were thoughts and stuff that were earlier. Mm-hmm. My only question is if you really felt that way, if you felt like that was the case, why not protect those snaps? Why not sit there and manage the snaps and keep, protect that first round pick and stuff, and give up the second instead of the first? If you knew that far into it, and I understand, because then you're basically telling your team, heck with it, this year's a lost season. But I mean, I'm afraid that, are we going to sit there and find Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard now? I mean, Darius, he's on Twitter, he's like, oh, here we go again. You know what I mean? Are these guys now going, this is the team I'm under contract with, but we can't get this spot figured out. Do I need to start, being unhappy? And the thing is if that starts happening, and where is this thing going to end up? So like I said, I've got to believe Ballard's got some sort of plan in mind.
Another quarterback that people really don't give a lot of thought process to, because they laugh about it when the name comes up, is Daniel Jones. And honestly, I can't really laugh about that too much, because the thought of Daniel Jones behind the Colts offensive line with the Colts weapons, as opposed to what the Giants offensive line was, is intriguing. It is intriguing. All of his issues was because of pressure, right? All of his issues was because of pressure. Because he'd get sacked, fumble, he'd take off and try to do weird stuff, because he never had a lot of time. I don't know. Does the Giants, would they come off of Daniel Jones for a late mid-round pick? Wouldn't mind giving a shot at that one either. I mean, it's interesting. But right now, Daniel's a guy who has a crap ton of upside. He's kind of like the Carson Wentz thing, right? He's got a really whole lot of upside. You've seen what he can look like down here, but he's got a lot of upside. So we'll see.
Yeah, and the part I love about that, whether it's Trubisky or Minshew or to your point, Jones, these guys are mobile. These guys, okay, if they can't make the pass, they have the ability to still get the first down and stuff. So, this offensive line is going to sit there and, have no problem making holes, whether it's for JT or for whatever quarterback, as long as they have the mobility and stuff to turn it into something. That's going to be huge, possibly coming into this year.
Oh yeah, definitely. So now we gotta think about what's the priority. Now, obviously, since we're not going to get a franchise quarterback this year, we're probably going to get a stopgap. Probably going to be anywhere between the 20 or less million a year. Right? That's my thought process on that. I don't think we're going to go get a Jimmy Garoppolo. Why? Because he just has shoulder surgery. That's very difficult for me to say. Okay. And he's not even going to be good for 4 months. And I don't even, if you guys follow me at all, I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo because, I've been saying for 3 years, the man can't throw the football past 15 yards. I mean, he can, but it's everywhere, I mean, he might be targeting Michael Pittman down the right sideline, and Mo Alley Cox catches it on a seam route on the left. I mean, if he throws it more than 15 yards downfield. So I don't want Jimmy Garoppolo. So if we're not going to put any money, like good money, into that, then I would not be opposed of going out and getting a good dynamic receiver opposite Michael Pittman Jr. and or a veteran proven pass rusher. Those are the two marks that I really, really want.
Yeah. And the thing is Ballard's got a lot of day 2 picks now, with the compensatory picks and now the pick that we just picked up, in this trade and stuff. I mean, and we all know Ballard is really good with those day 2 picks. So this is not, we're done, we're scrapping this thing and we're going to do a 3-5 year rebuild. I don't think that's where we're at. Now we'll say if we can't find the solution in the next year or two at quarterback, then you have to start looking at the talent that you have and has that time. Have you lost that time with them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jamie Miller does bring up a good question. We talked about wide receiver. We talked about the pass rush. And Jamie says, given the options at quarterback, would you think that bringing in a good option at tight end should be a priority? We're going to need to get a safety blanket for whoever is behind center. And, I mean, yes, but honestly, if we're going to go do that, we need someone, no offense to Ertz, but he's at the last leg of his career, okay? And the only reason why I liked Ertz to Indy was because of the Carson Wentz connection, okay? There are better tight ends that are younger out there that I think that the Colts could go after, especially with Doyle now retiring. Obviously, you have Kylan Granson, who I hope will take a step this season. You saw improvement from Kylan Granson from training camp all the way through this season. You saw him get better and better. His drop started to disappear, so I'm good with that. And Mo Alley Cox, we'll see what happens. Gotta re-sign Mo Alley Cox now. It's not even a question. With Jack Doyle retired, Mo Alley Cox absolutely has to be re-signed because he's the only proven real blocker at tight end that the Colts have left on the team. Okay? And he's got upside as a receiver. We've seen it. But his ability to help in the pass blocking and in the run blocking absolutely is paramount important right now with the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts just need to go out and get themselves another tight end.
Yeah, and to your point, if you re-sign Mo Alley Cox, that doesn't shoehorn you into, okay, we need to get a down the field type of tight end. You can still find that, diverse type of tight end and stuff. I mean, like Jack Doyle was. I mean, the dude could catch the passes, but he could also block like a tank. And that's the thing. You got that with Mo Alley, and Kylan Granson's more of your receiving type of tight end and stuff. So if you do re-sign Mo Alley, that definitely opens up that your options as far as filling that third tight end spot.
Absolutely. So now that we've basically talked a lot about that, we're going to get into the chat in just one moment. Don't forget, please smash that like button. All right. Please. And subscribe if you're not subscribed, because I want to have a crap ton of film rooms. I've already started. I got 3 out. There's going to be a lot more coming out every week. You don't want to miss these free agent film rooms. And then, of course, that means you got to subscribe so you don't miss them. But don't forget also, we need a guy to sit beside DeForest Buckner. All right. Now, I understand everybody loves some quiddy pay, but Buckner, he says, hey, we need a real Leo. Go get a real Leo. Hey, if you want to talk to Buckner as well, you could do so by going to the Backroom Collection. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. Oh, and by the way, there was mention of Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins ain't going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. There is no way on God's green earth that the Vikings are going to trade Kirk Cousins when all $45 million of his is guaranteed by them this year. They trade him, they still have to pay $45 million bucks. Okay? You'd have to give him two first round picks minimum. minimum for them to eat that and not have him as a quarterback. That's just, it is what it is. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those moments where, I'll be honest, I'm very interested to see where this thing goes, because you can see a lot of avenues, but none of them look like the right avenue. And I've got to believe that Ballard's got the right avenue, sitting somewhere back there in the back in the closet somewhere.
Yeah. PDraggy says, with the 42nd pick, the Colts are going to have their pick of quarterbacks, but none of them are starter quality, in my opinion. I don't see any of them as, someone that's going to end up being a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. And that's what Jim Irsay wants. So why waste a resource on something that you're not going to use as a starter? Period. At least an early resource, like a second round pick. There's just no reason to do that, in my opinion. For the most part, I think that if you know that none of these guys are going to be your long-term solution, and a free agent out there is someone who can, wait until next year, use your draft picks then, okay? And just get yourself a stopgap. That's how I feel it.
Yeah, unless Ballard looks at one of these guys, or Reich looks at one of these guys and goes, oh, hey, this could be my guy. I mean, I agree. I don't see us giving up a whole lot this year in this draft.
Larry Brown says Desmond Riddler, Carson Strong, and Sam Howell's better than Sam Ehlinger is. I will not disagree with you. They're still not starters, right? And why? At that point, why? They're still going to be riding the bench. You're going to spend a second round pick for a quarterback that's going to ride the bench permanently, most likely.
Yeah, and Carson Strong, I mean, his knees and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't want to take that risk.
Yeah, absolutely. Ninkowski says that Riddler's probably the best option from Cincy. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Guy who watches a lot of college, so I'm good for that. I still say wait next year. Brandon Wood says we wait the 2 years to go grab Donovan Smith out of Texas Tech. You're welcome. Hey, that's possible. That's possible as well. Guys, again, if you want to, we're right here in the chat, right here in the live chat. Appreciate each and every one of you. 67 of you watching live. That is freaking awesome. If you want to donate, I'd appreciate it. We'll use that to continue making great content for you. But we'll see. I don't see the Colts tanking. Jim Irsay is not a tanking guy, right? Hold on. KDC City just used that link in the description right here. Drop $3 into the tip jar. Gracias. Says, what do you think the Colts should do at quarterback draft, sign, trade? I think we should sign a veteran and draft a quarterback next year. That's exactly what I've been trying to say. Go sign yourself a veteran quarterback, a stopgap guy who you don't necessarily think is going to be your long-term solution. That just could fill in for now. Maybe make you competitive, right? And then save your resources to go get somebody next year. That's that. Whether it be through trade or through draft next year, either way, that's my way of going about it.
Yeah, and Coach Reich has already shown, Nick Foles shows up. He has to go resort to him in the Super Bowl. No problem. Got this. You know what I mean? Just give me a couple games head start. And then what happens? They turn around and win the Super Bowl. Coach has shown that he can get the best out of some of these guys. You go out there, you don't, it's not like we're writing off, Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard and all these guys. I mean, we had 7 Pro Bowls, okay? You don't want to sit there and tank and then sit there and go, your guys' 1 year of your career isn't as important as us finding that quarterback. That's not going to sit well with those guys. I can't imagine.
Larry Brown says Shane Falco to the Colts. Okay. I would be on that in a heartbeat. Okay. That's one of my favorite football movies, guys. One of my
like
favorite.
The Replacements?
Oh, yes. It's so funny. I mean, come on. When everybody starts doing the electric slide in jail, I mean, come on now.
We're a team now.
That was so daggone funny. Oh, I loved it. Hey, what else you wanting to talk about? Well, Loyalist. Anything you want to bring up that we haven't actually brought up yet?
Well, like I said, we've sort of discussed it, but needs to be stated that it looks like that Eric Fisher is not going to be back. He's told the team that they were too far away, and Ballard did what he always does. He gives a number, and looks like Eric Fisher's seen that number and said, nope, not interested, and he's hitting free agency. So it's. I don't want to say that we're turning things over a lot, but in some of these weak areas that we use the Band-Aids are coming loose. And that's all it is. You know what I mean? So we're still in a similar spot that we were in last year. I would just argue that we have more information. We had, our secondary stepped up, Bobby Okereke stepped up. The defensive side of the things, these guys are really starting to develop and stuff. And we still got a pretty awesome O-line, even if Eric Fisher doesn't return.
Colts Cut says, is Deshaun Watson off the plate? Deshaun Watson wouldn't come to the Colts for 5 first-round picks. I don't know. The Texans wouldn't trade him if he was in jail for the next 5 years. They still wouldn't trade trade him to us. All right? It just wouldn't happen. That'd be like, how would you feel if Chris Ballard traded Jonathan Taylor to the Jaguars? I mean, that you would be madder than Hades, right?
Yes.
That would not happen. I promise you. There was another question up here that I wanted to come up. No one says, basically, Colts traded first and third for a couple of mid-round picks. No. What they did was, and it depends. If Wentz plays next year and that third round next year becomes a second, then basically what the Colts did was trade a first-round pick for a second-round pick for a 1-year rental, and then that's it.
And did not eat all that money
exactly,
and improve their second-round pick for this year. So
yep. That's how I see it. Still questions about Carr, dude. I'd love to have Carr, but I really don't think the Raiders are going to come off Carr. It is what it is. Terran Armstead, probably going to cost way too much. Love me some Terran Armstead. Think he's going to cost way too much. Do you really want to put $15 million into our offensive line? Like over half of our salary cap on the offensive line? I don't think so. We do need a good left tackle though. But I think that maybe with what we have right now, with a move up in the second, and the extra third, maybe Ballard can do some finagling, find himself a left tackle in this draft with that. That's possible.
And does this also help Ballard in trying to keep some of those pieces? Like, we've been talking about how we enjoyed that offensive line depth that we had this last year. Does it make it easier to get, your Chris Reeds and your Mark Lewinsky's back under your Matt Pryors and stuff? Not these headline setters, but these guys that have been important to the Colts as far as in depth.
That one guy brings up Jordan Love. All right, let's talk about Jordan Love. All right, even Tom Grossi. Well, I know Tom ain't watching this show, but just saying, he did a video about the trade. You go check it out after we're done. You can go check it out. But he even brought up maybe the Colts will go get, Jordan Love, be interested in trading for him. A lot of Colts fans wanted Jordan Love in that draft. They wanted the Colts to go after Jordan Love. Now, the problem was that the Colts traded away their first-round pick and got DeForest Buckner. There was no way they were getting Jordan Love at that point. But I don't think the Colts would give up a first-round pick. Would Ballard be interested in being, hey, we'll give you our second-round pick or a third and a fifth or something like that for him? I don't know if Green Bay would be up for that. But I wouldn't want to give a first-round pick for Jordan Love.
And the thing is okay, we're sitting there and we're talking about Carson Wentz, and you hear this, he wasn't a good leader and he couldn't take hard coaching and stuff. Okay, if we're talking about that and then you bring in Jordan Love, this kid got popped for marijuana. Okay, and wherever your point is, whether you're okay, but the thing
Not in Indiana won't work well.
No, and the thing is you sit there and you factor in the fact that is that really the type of leadership that you're wanting? I mean, because this kid, I mean, he did it so much to the point that, you know what, even the team had to address it. And let's be honest, I mean, over the last 5 years or so, teams have turned to, let that whole thing be less of an issue. You know, I mean, it's not 4 years ago with Alden Smith or anything like that. Now it's more of the league is softened on their, testing and stuff. But still, do you want that guy leading your team? Do you want that guy being your franchise quarterback? And Jordan Love, somebody that makes these choices at the time where, I mean, he was getting ready to enter the draft, for Pete's sake. What are you doing?
Right. Well, I mean, that's been a couple years, so I mean that might have worked itself out, and he's became more professional in that situation. But we'll see. But let's face it. In Indiana, it's still 100% illegal, right? Mm-hmm. Marijuana is 100% illegal in Indiana still. So, I mean, if he's still doing that as a recreational thing, you don't want to come to Indiana. And I wouldn't want him to, because he would end up in jail. And I wouldn't want that. Not for our quarterback, not for a recreational thing.
Yeah. And like I said, for me, I just don't want that type of leadership. The guy that's going to put his desire to get stoned or whatever over the need of a team or an organization or his future even.
Yeah. So 76 of you. Wow. We got 76 people in the viewers right now. We appreciate you guys. You have any questions? Any questions at all? Use the live chat. Drop it in there. I will do my best to catch it. If you want to make sure that your question is answered, use the link in the description. We'd appreciate it. Please don't forget to smash that like button. It helps so much with the analytics. Get people in here. I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait until this upcoming, 2 weeks? No, next week when free agency begins. So, holy crap, it's less than 2 weeks. So that's awesome. Free agency is going to be awesome. The only problem is, like I said earlier, all of you who think that Chris Ballard is going to be so active on day 1, day 2, day 3, he will be. He will be on the phone calling like a nobody's business, just like he does every single year. Doesn't mean he's going to get anything to happen. All right? Because he's good.
Yeah, I would argue our salary cap position was better a couple years ago when we were sitting at like 68, but we weren't looking at a Quentin Nelson contract, over the horizon. We weren't looking at, a lot of re-signs, and we still did not go and make that atomic splash that everybody was hoping to see in free agency.
Absolutely. Jared right here says, tired of this quarterback carousel, man. You, me, and Dupree, we're all sick of the quarterback carousel, okay? Holy crap. All right, it's just ridiculous. We need to find someone. The problem is we may go 7 years with a different quarterback because there's a good chance we're going to get a stopgap this year, and that's going to suck, okay? But it is what it is.
Yeah, and I'll tell everybody, I'm on board with the whole, man, this quarterback situation is driving me nuts. Okay, I agree with. I would say Ballard would arguably have to say that he probably feels that way a little bit. But the thing is I am so happy that Ballard is sitting there and he's not sitting there and just saying, okay, well, this is it. I can't help it. If he was that committed to, Carson's not the guy and stuff, at least he's not giving up. He's still trying. He's still working his magic. He's trying to lessen the damage as much as he can with this one, and yet open up some doors or windows and stuff to find the solutions over here. So I'm thankful that Ballard and the Colts organization are still throwing their darts at the board.
All right. Ninkowski's talking about leave the pot out of it. And dude, I wasn't, my opinions about it had nothing to do with anything. Okay. My opinions about it has nothing. I'm just talking about the fact that it's flat out illegal in Indiana. That's the problem. Okay. How it works in Colorado or in California, that's one thing. But in Indiana, you get caught with a dime bag, you go to jail. So, I mean, it is what it is.
And my point wasn't about the substance as much as it was about just the fact of the leadership or lack thereof.
Okay. Toxic Tommy has a really nice little thing that he says here. Appreciate you, my guy, being in here. The free agent quarterback market this year will be like 20 great white sharks fighting over a half dozen guppies. Not just the free agency, but also the draft. Okay, that's exactly that's a good representation of what that's going to be like. And yet the wide receiver market this year is beautiful, not only in free agency but in the draft as well. Right? There's just a freaking ton of them everywhere. I mean, you can't throw an apple without hitting a wide receiver somewhere. It is what it is. But
and to go with that analogy, everybody wants Chris Ballard to be the blue whale, where he just opens his mouth and takes everything in.
Right?
That's not Chris Ballard.
No. There's too many. A lot of people talking about Matt Ryan right now. That's cap hit $42 million. That they ain't trading him. They want too much in the trade to get rid of Matt Ryan. He's kind of on the similar situation that Kirk Cousins is in. It ain't gonna happen. Okay. There's limited options at quarterback this year, and we're just gonna have to deal with it for this season. But I mean, we still got other positions. Like I said, we got tight ends we got to fill. We got a left tackle we got to go get. We got a tight end. Wait, I already said tight end. Probably ought to go grab a wide receiver. Another edge rusher wouldn't be a bad idea. But, I mean, I don't want he might be good edge rusher. I want a proven vet if we're going to get one, right?
Chandler Jones.
Yeah. And if you want an interesting film room on Chandler Jones, go check it out on my channel. I just dropped that not long ago, too. But, yeah, I don't want another, maybe he'll be good guy at edge rusher because we have a whole freaking position line group of that. He could end up being good. I want to prove a dude there. Okay. Then there's, could get cornerback for depth. I'm not saying that we need a starter, but we could definitely use depth because we've seen what happened last year when we end up having guys that can't play. So depth at corner would be nice as well. But I seen you, Ninkowski. I seen you what you said a few times. But all right, I watched, and Toxic Tommy says I watched the Chandler Jones film room, and he looked like a real possibility. I love Chandler Jones. He's not going to be cheap, though.
Right.
Okay? That's the issue. It's just like Allen Robinson. Love Allen Robinson. He's not going to be cheap, and that's the thing. Chris Ballard, if he wants to get those guys, he's going to have to dig a little deeper than what he's normally doing. Since he's been here with the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah. And the thing is do you really want to sacrifice that much capital for a guy who's, maybe 2 years left for the league and stuff? Do you really want to sacrifice that much resources on a guy that, quite honestly, without a franchise quarterback, that's not really the type of move I think you want to make at this point in time. And trust me, I'm all about getting a good D in and that. But the thing is if you go that route, I feel like it's got to be somebody that's got a lot more time on the league than, just a year or two.
Absolutely. A proven guy. Mm-hmm. Guys, thank you so much. Don't forget, we also have stuff on Newsbreak that we post on Newsbreak a lot. You can go check that out as well. I think we're going to probably end it here shortly. I just want to end this by saying my opinion on the trade of Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders is actually positive. Okay. I don't like the fact that it leaves the Indianapolis Colts with a huge vacancy with no one to fill it. I don't like that. But the fact that we were able to get out of the situation basically scot-free with very minimal damage to anything it just impresses the heck out of me. So, what are your thoughts, Loyalist?
I agree. I really, man, I want to have a franchise quarterback. I mean, it doesn't even need to be Peyton Manning. Daggone it, doesn't need to be Andrew Luck. I just want a good, competitive starting quarterback. But to your point, the fact that he's willing to sit there and keep working this out, and the thing is I wouldn't say he totally erased the mistake, but to your point, he erased most of the damage. You know, I mean, there's not a whole lot that you look at Ballard that he does where you let go and, man, that's going to cost the team for 3 years. I understand missing on Carson Wentz, but that goes back to, you know, the options and everything that was available at that time. I mean, Matt Stafford had already gone to the Rams. I mean, I feel like Ballard is doing the best with a situation that he can, but there again, you just hope that he can find that long-term answer. That's the thing. I mean, I'm like Darius Leonard. I'm ready for the quarterback position to just be solidified. But I will tell you, I don't think that this is going to be a one-year fix. I think that this may take another couple years to sort that.
And that's being optimistic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Short of, you know, something miraculous happening. Guys, thank you so much for spending an hour with us. We absolutely enjoyed talking with you guys and giving you our thoughts on things. Thank you so much for the interaction in the live chat. I hope we answered your questions as best we could. And please don't forget, smash that like button. It helps us out a ton. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
Gardner Minshew for a 3rd and a 7th. I'll probably take that.